sorry I haven't posted in a really long time. It's just I've been so busy with school and I just haven't had the time. But here I am, so let's talk. So today my mum was watching Sky News in the morning and they were talking about dyslexia, so she's like, oh come, you know, like, let's watch it. So we watched it and it wasn't even that good. They just talked about, oh, I'm dyslexic, I'm not stupid. And that's all they said. They didn't say anything else. And I feel like no one really understands dyslexia. They know it's there. They know people need help and they know that letters get jumbled up. But they don't know how it feels like to have it and what a big impact it has. So having dyslexia is harder than it looks because you have to work so much harder than the average person. And yeah, you find ways to work around these problems, but it's still quite difficult to remember them. And in a test, everything sometimes feels like it's just crumbling around you. Dyslexic people don't get as much credit as they should because they work extremely hard, and people don't see that. People know that they have problems with spellings and words get jumbled up, but they don't understand how hard it is to even struggle, because if you're going to read in class, you're the one who's not putting your hand up volunteering to read because you know you're going to stumble, and then there's going to be that one person in that class that doesn't understand and will laugh at you. And even not putting your hand up to volunteer to just read something out is quite scary, quite nervous. Like, you want to be like everyone else, but you can't. And that's actually been such a big problem with me. I know I have this YouTube channel now and I'm so grateful for the amount of love I get on it, and I've got 98 subscribers. But there was a time in my life where I was so upset that I had dyslexia. I didn't even want people to know that I had it. I hated even talking about it and saying the word dyslexia. And I hated not being able to spell or read. And I pushed myself so hard to read in class and get spelling tests right and spell correctly every time that it made me so sad because I was pushing myself too hard. Because even then, 2 years ago, people didn't understand as much as they do now. Teachers now know that if a child doesn't volunteer to read, it's not because they're lazy and they can't be bothered, it's because they have difficulties. And they understand that more than they did, like, just a few years ago. Through people like this channel telling them, because my mum, when we found out I had dyslexia, she wanted to help me. And she knew what it was from reading up about it, but she didn't know how to help. They just say what it is. You can't spell, your words get jumbled up, it's difficult to read because of letters, and you can get overlays and tinted glasses. And there are methods, but it doesn't really say how to motivate people or how to comfort them when they're down and struggling. And that was such a big problem with me because I got so upset. And the people who were in my class then, they probably didn't even see it because it was such a minor thing to them. But for me, it was like I was trapped in this giant bubble, and it was just closing in around me and I had nowhere to go. Some people might say to you if you're dyslexic, oh, don't worry, because people like Albert Einstein had dyslexia and they're so smart. But when you're really upset, you think, but I'm not Albert Einstein, I'm not him. So I won't be as good as him because I'm not that person, I'm me. And if someone's feeling good about themselves that time, you should tell them, all these great people are dyslexic, so you will be as well. But if they're feeling down, don't tell them that because it feels like pressure to be that good as this person because they were like you for one reason, because they had dyslexia. It's like telling a 3-year-old doing football, David Beckham does football, so you are like him. But saying like, you do football, David Beckham does football, therefore you're gonna be amazing at football. It kind of is a bit hard. I'm not the best to explain this because I'm not even an adult. I don't know what adults are thinking all the time. I'm 12 and 13 on Tuesday, and I'm just talking about my life experiences. And that's all I have to offer. But luckily I am managing how to overcome dyslexia, and it hardly ever bothers me anymore. But I've had a lot of times when it's really got to me. When I was in year 5, I had an English teacher who I talked about in An Important Message, who I would always get spellings wrong and have to go up and down. And sometimes in lessons I would just cry. And she'd be like, why are you crying, Amy? You're such a wimp. Stop crying all the time. Because she didn't understand that I was trying so hard to remember full stops, capital letters, how to spell correctly. And it just got to me because it's so difficult. And I don't want anyone to face that. The reason I made this channel was to be the person that I never had. To tell me what helps and what doesn't. So I hope people, instead of just listening to things like Sky News saying, I'm not thick, I'm dyslexic, and that's it, will look at this channel and then realise it's so much more than that. But here are some things you should know about dyslexia. When I ask for a spelling, please don't ask the whole class, who knows how to spell this word? Because really, you just need to tell me. If you're going to spell a word to me, like and, for example, it's not like I can't spell and, but it's just the first word that came into my head. Let's say Andy, because I'm not going to remember. Say A, N, D. Give me enough time to write it down, please. If I'm doing a spelling test and I look really upset, don't just say, oh, she hasn't revised, so she's just a bit worried. Talk to me at the end and ask what the problem is. I might be stressed out because of the spellings. Just because my handwriting is messy doesn't mean I'm not paying attention or trying my hardest. Just means that my handwriting is messy. I may have problems reading, writing and spelling, but that doesn't mean I'm not good at practicals. I'm not that good at mental maths, so hand me a piece of paper, please. Just because I asked you to explain it twice doesn't mean I wasn't listening the first time. I just haven't got the grip of it yet. Everybody's dyslexia is different. Don't judge me like another person. I hope you enjoyed my video today. It was just a quick thing because I got so angry because of the news. I want to be more connected to you guys, if that makes sense. So leave a suggestion down below of what I should call you guys and what I should say at the beginning and the end.